they won the game and the call stood and so forth and so on. But then I caught up to it and saw it play out in real time, the reversal of the call, which, for the record, was the correct call to make. And I've explained this a number of times, at least my viewpoint, and I didn't even delve deep into the rule book or anything, but
he didn't catch the damn ball. Like, it's...
Yeah, nobody caught the ball except for the Miami player who was laying out of bounds, so it's a dead ball.
Right. And, like, so that throw came directly towards the press box at Hard Rock Stadium. So it's not even like I was like, well, it's way on the other side of the world, and it was right there in front of us, and live with my naked eyes, I could see that he didn't catch the ball. Like, it was always moving, like you have seen on the replays. It was always moving. And then it was Isaiah Horton. And like, we kind of had to do a quick look. And it's funny, guy sitting next to in the press box, Brandon O'Doy, he knew it was Isaiah Horton because of the cleats that Horton wears, as opposed to anybody else. And then, but they had to do the double number thing or they had to do the random jersey number because Isaiah Horton wears number 2. So does star cornerback Daryl Porter Jr. So just like Ray Armstrong on punts, they're like, hey, we have this extra jersey. Go throw that on so we don't get a penalty. Remind me to come back to that. And so he goes in there and like, yo, he's 6'4". He was a high jumper in high school. He's the guy that we can put back there, him and like Riley Williams, but like Isaiah Horton being a little bit more fleet of foot. We're going to put him. And like, the ball was never possessed until Isaiah Horton had the ball. So, and I'm just like, cool. All right. Oh my God, they got batted around, but did they call touchdown on the field? And I'm like, there's no justification for that whatsoever because a potential scoring play would have been reviewed anyway. So it's not even like you had to do that to open the door. Right? You could have called it incomplete and immediately said the call on the field is under further review. The same thing that they did, but they made up this catch, and Virginia Tech people swear that they're getting screwed and everything. Like, look, y'all, they played a great game, and I'll give them the credit that they took advantage of the situations that we presented them. But Miami presented them with infinite damn near opportunities to be in this game, and it was just clearly incomplete and shouldn't have been in that situation. Shouldn't have been close, to be perfectly honest. I mean, look, and again, like, and before, like you hop back in, I know that you and some other people might have pushed back on my accounting of leaving at least 25 points on the field at Florida. I stand by that. Here, you had a touchdown on the field called back for bullshit holding. That was a guy who, that defender was in a twisted position. You have a big 6'9", 350-pound dude who's just like, cool, so you're twisting and trying to twist back and lost your feet. I'm going to pancake you. And that took 7 off the board this way. And Virginia Tech had 17 of their 34 points directly off of Miami's 3 turnovers. That's 24 right there. Including, again, points off the board for Miami. This game, and it was a 4-point win as it was. Look, by taking away their 17, that's 21. You get the 7 there. That's 28. Bro, this game wasn't close. If you look at the advanced stats, if you look at this game wasn't close. But I will give them credit. They played hard. Kyron Jones is a motherfucker. Like, there were 5 or 6 times where he's sacked if he's another quarterback. But he's big and strong and just, like, flip the ball some kind of weird way. Like, they did a lot. But, like, this is, to me, really that one holding call away from being a boat race. And then, hey, you make some plays. You trick Ham into 2 different interceptions. He was trying to do too much on the first drive with the fumble. But like, I know Justin DeTavio State of the U, he broke it down. The first interception was a double post with a wheel behind it. And we've thrown that a lot. And then even Shannon Dawson and Cam Ward both said, I was supposed to throw that ball back shoulder. and he didn't. He threw it inside, but I'm like, but also it's a great play by the safety number 18. I keep forgetting his name because it doesn't matter to me because I'm not going to watch Virginia Tech anymore. But he baited Cam into it. He did. He said, I'm going to carry this post and I'm looking right here. And as soon as it looks open, he's going to throw it, but I'm ready for it already. It was a great play by that guy. That should have never happened because Miami scored on the play before. You know what I mean? But like, yeah. So I say all that to say that, yeah, it was interesting going along in that game. But I mean, yeah, look, yeah, 394 yards. They did get, a chunk on the last drive. But over 500 yards for Miami. The three turnovers is really huge. They did get 23 first downs. That was a lot. But I mean, yeah, but hey, win your clunkers, survive in advance, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, and it was more equal on rushing because if you take away, and I mean, but you can't do it. But it's the same thing like, last week at USF when I said, Miami didn't run for 170. They ran for 80 or 79 plus a 91 yarder. You take away the 55-yarder where Kiko Mawinoa hits Bashal Tootin in the hole, they're at 150 yards rushing, which is not great, but it's not 200 something. But it's the same thing like the Florida game. Like Florida didn't really run the ball well, but they had a 71-yarder. So lots to fix, lots to come back from. But yeah, I'll stop my soliloquy.
Okay. So going back to the final play, again, once I was able to process what I was watching, like, okay, what means possession of a ball and all those things and who's out of bounds. And I was really processing, okay, make sense of this because there wasn't necessarily, it wasn't like, okay, foot down, ball secured, anything like that, like we usually see. It's like this massive humanity. Mm-hmm. And I think people get confused with, okay, well, the call was initially this. So regardless of what my eyes are telling me and my knowledge of the rule book, there was a call on the field. So unless they can explain how it should be overturned, then it shouldn't be overturned. It should go to the call on the field. Well, it could be explained how it should be overturned. I don't know that it was explained well, but anyway.
The ACC did come out with a statement after the game.
Oh, later, but I'm talking about on the field. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that was pretty pitch perfect to what the statement was. Like the ball, like the receiver did not possess the ball. It was touched by a Miami player who was out of bounds. Therefore, it makes it incomplete. Like the play is dead immediately. Miami wins. Like I see pretty clear synergy between what he said and what the statement was.
Okay. I kind of reasoned it this way. I'm thinking of a situation that we would never see on a football field, but just imagine if a ball is thrown along the sideline and the defender leaps up, catches the ball, and as he's falling, he has 1 foot inbounds and 1 foot out of bounds. And as he hits the ground and the play is dead, at that exact second, an offensive player steals the ball out of his hands, and it looks like, okay, well, he caught the ball or something. Yeah. What did we just see? Well, what we saw was the ball was dead as soon as the player hit out of bounds. Right. Regardless of how confusing it is or quick or what the timing is, if it's determined based on videotape evidence that the ball was possessed by somebody out of bounds, the play is dead. And it can't be taken away. And it never was taken away from him anyway, from what I could see.
I mean, it wasn't. And I mean, I know Virginia Tech people, they wanted to freeze frame for 1/10,000th of a second that the receiver
understand the motivation
had.
That's what fans do.
But like it was moving. Still, you know what I mean? It's just like, I mean, like,
and that's what I was waiting for when I started watching the replay. I was waiting for a time. And it still wouldn't have mattered because it was possessed out of bounds. But anyway, for a time in which the Virginia Tech player actually secured the football, and it never happened. It just was kept.
Again, and before y'all like say, oh, well, Cam, you're home. Mark is not. Sorry, I'll go this way. Sorry, it's that way on my screen. You know what I mean? So, like, objectively, like, it just, I was just waiting, honestly, on emotion for Miami to be screwed by the ACC. That's what but, you know, because we've seen it before. I thought that was going to be another instance of it. I am surprised that they actually got the call right, in spite of everything else. I've seen so many different people, in so many different studio shows talk about, well, it was the right call, but the process was kind of flawed, and so it's not fair to Virginia Tech because there are wrong calls other times, and I'm like, what are we doing? You know what I mean? Like, to me, the ends of the call being right justify the means through which we got
Absolutely.
to the right conclusion, whatever that conclusion is.
Yeah.
Right. And hey, like, again, I don't believe that the right conclusion was Donald Chaney Jr. fumbled against Georgia Tech. I do not believe the post was, or the picture was tweeted out a million times. Ball in his hand, elbow hits, in possession. I don't believe that the means to get to that decision to say he fumbled got to the right conclusion. And the ACC even said so afterwards. You know what I mean? So, like, yeah, it is controversial, but again, like this, it is another point for people to hate Miami for, and hey, if they hate and let them hate, watch the money pile up. Like, y'all can be mad about it. Like, I will be, like, if you want to hate somebody, we'll be the jerks. Let's be jerks. Give us all of your hate. That is perfectly fine. But yeah, it was the right ruling. It was the true and correct thing that he never had the ball to begin with. And so it wasn't a catch. Now, yeah, it was frustrating, anxiety inducing to be like there and just waiting. I looked between my tweets because my guy Mike McCoy was with me writing the recap. It was 7 minutes from the play, like the play live, till the final second ruling determination. So yeah, it was a little bit of time, and so it was like 7 minutes real time, but I think it was 5 minutes or 4.5 that he was actually under the hood in the review. Because remember, he was like, "Oh, hey, touchdown! Wait, do not clear the field. Return to your sidelines. Like, pick up your stuff. The game is not over. Hey." So there was that kind of delay in there as well. But yeah, it was definitely a lot to learn for the Hurricanes from this game, and that final play, and everything, and even the penultimate play, because, like, maybe you bring a little bit of pressure and don't let Kyron Drones just jog for 15 to make that last throw a little easier. Maybe you don't do that. I don't know, but yeah, everything is under evaluation, and it was not just that play. It did just happen to be a very consequential final play because it was literally either team is going to win the game. But the right team won, and 5-0 moving on.
Yeah, I don't understand the process argument either. I understand that maybe things could be a little better executed. It's almost like, to take it to your arena, and you'll explain this better than me, that maybe you had a remarkable first-rate A+ concert performance with your choir, but looking back on it, you thought, oh, we could have worked on this a little bit. But if I had to do it over, I would have prepared them a little bit differently. But when it all came together, you still killed it. But you're thinking, I've learned from the situation, and we'll do better in our preparation. But we still nailed it when we needed to.
Right. No, exactly. Like, you get that AAB on the 3 categories at districts and barely slide by the states, as opposed to, superior, or, in 3 on stage and sight reading. Like, yeah, it could be a little challenging, so yeah, no, I definitely get it. I wanted to circle back to the double number thing.
Yes.
Because I did mention that. Virginia Tech cheated. And Brenton Pry said as much in his Monday presser when asked about it. So during the game, that long 93-yard field goal or whatever that they hit, which, again, I get so many people tweeting at me because kickers don't miss against Miami, especially long field goals. They just don't. But they had two players with number 17. It was the kicker and a wing blocker. And several Virginia Tech journalists tweeted it at the time and said, yo, they got away with it again. So this is the second, if not third time they've done this year. And Brent Pry was just like, hey, we had 10 on field goal. Somebody thought we were going to punt, but we didn't. And so then I'm like, give me the nearest person possible and go in, because if we ran with the 10 that we had, the position missing, that it gets blocked anyways. So we're just going to do it. We're going to see what happens. If they catch it, they catch it. If it's a delay game, we punt. If it's a 5-yard penalty, we punt. So like, basically, yeah, I knew it. I saw who it was. I threw him out there because he plays, it was a tight end or something. So he plays that position, and basically, if you ain't cheating, if you ain't trying, cop didn't see it, I didn't do it type stuff. And again, this is the second, if not third time that they've gotten away with it. And he admitted to it. He's like, yeah, so you just try it and see what happens. So you cheated is what it is. Okay, cool. So miss me with anything. And again, it was the right call, maybe done the wrong way, but it was the right call at the end of the game. But that was because of the officials going through their process. We did not intentionally cheat to try to score. Virginia Tech, however, intentionally cheated and scored. And, then it's just a cheeky, well, hey, and I saw like Andy Bitter, who's a long time journalist up there, their beat writer, I think Associated Press or The Athletic, like another couple of, they're guys from Gobbler Country, they're, the sister SB Nation blog, and other people like, yo, like, this is yet again another time that they did the same thing with the same guy, because it could only be kicker and this tight end who have the same number. But again, if you're looking for someone who intentionally cheated to score points in the game on Friday night, and you're looking over here at orange, green, and white, you're looking at the wrong goddamn sideline, because Brent Pry admitted to it. So I don't want to hear it about anything else.
When I hear that description, my first thought is, the first time he encountered this, sure, let's see if we can get away with it. I don't have a solution for this situation right in the moment. Do it. But the next thing I would be doing is determining, when we come across that situation again, we need to take care of it in a legal fashion so we don't screw up.
Nope.
That would be my, we need to get this guy another jersey or whatever we need to do.
No, we're just going to keep driving with that expired license tag or license plate. We're going to keep rolling around with those 2% tints and hope that the state trooper is going somewhere else. Whatever it is. No. We're just going to do it again. And yeah, cop didn't see it. I didn't do it. But yeah, miss me with anything else, bro. So like, all of your outrage, for anybody who has outrage about it, turn some over to Blacksburg, because again, he admitted to it. And you can watch this on his Monday presser. If you think that I'm exaggerating for comedic effect, or you think that I'm misrepresenting this, which I am absolutely not, go and watch the film for yourself. That's absolutely what he said. And that's absolutely what they did. But anyways, 38-34, lots to learn, lots to clean up, and we move.
And I'll make one other point that I think people have a misconception, fans have a misconception of, because of the scoring progression, and then we'll get to the super chats, is Cam just outlined how Miami was statistically the superior team, on the field the superior team, et cetera, et cetera. I can't largely in any way disagree with that. Even though I watched the game, I don't have knowledge of the game like Cam does, because you tend to, of course, absorb your team. I just watched the game and then moved on to Saturday's games. But I watched the game. We know that Miami's a better team. But people get confused, I think, also with, Virginia Tech had a 10-point lead, therefore Miami got lucky. And they confuse the the level of play, the occurrences that led to a 10-point lead, and all of those things, as obviously the team that came back was lucky. That's another thing I've seen.
I mean, the only thing that was lucky was Miami stopped turning the ball over. Like it wasn't even like there was a busted play and, we score from 99 yards out after a punt gets down at the 1, and then like a tipped interception returned for a touchdown. And then like, it wasn't that. Like Miami had to grind and go like walk up the field for those touchdowns. Like it was like, and I always leave the stats up for this very reason. If we look at the drives, the last 2 drives were 9 plays, 70 yards, and 10 plays, 57 yards. And the one before that was 8 for 89. So hold on, I got to get rid of this window so I can put this here. Like, yeah, that's what? 27 plays across the last 3 drives, including an incredible Xavier Restrepo on his back on 4th down in the ball game, which everybody was like, that's nothing. Like the circus catches that he intentionally practices on a daily basis, like that's barely the tip of the iceberg. And I'm like, what is this man be doing and everything? You know what I mean? But like,
yeah, I heard Cam Ward say that. Yep.
Xavier, or I mean, Restrepo himself he was the first person up for interviews. Like, yeah, that's not like. Mario hinted at it. X said it. Then Cam said it, and then like everyone's like, "Yeah, no, he's on some other stuff." Okay, well, great. I love that because like then and Cam was like, "Yeah." Then I had to kind of take some RPMs off and just kind of get it there. But like, yeah, this was not one play 98 yards and then a trick play and then no. That's 27 plays across 3 drives and a couple 4th downs, and everything had to happen. That was not luck. Now, it was an improvement on defense that, we got that final 3 and out on before Miami's final scoring drive and everything, because I don't think that I can tell you, excuse me, Jesus. Nope, that's 3 plays for a touchdown, 2 plays for an interception. 4 play. Yeah, Miami had not forced Virginia Tech into a 3 and out all game. You did have the 2 plays and the interception, which should have been a big game. Kyron Jones was just behind his receiver, and then it got tipped, and like Michelle Powell caught it early in the first quarter. But like that was a wide open receiver and a better throw. He's probably still running to this day. You know what I mean? But like 1, 2, 3, and then a punt. Miami had not forced them into that all game until it's 34-31 Virginia Tech, and Miami has to have the ball back to go score. There was nothing lucky about it. So, I'll leave it there, but like, yeah, no, this was earned by Miami for sure.
Great ball game. Great finish. Just exciting for college football fans to take in. And to another point that you've made in recent weeks concerning Miami popularity, also Virginia Tech certainly has a following, but most of this was Miami, and also being a great game that was controversial. Well, the controversy had nothing to do with the rating, because obviously people didn't show up for the last 3 minutes, but it being a really good game. 3.3 million viewers, I believe I saw the total, which was the 2nd highest Friday night game since 2018.
And 5th highest overall on the weekend. So yeah, again, Miami continues to be a big box office draw for ESPN. For years and years, we would have Thursday night games because they wanted to put Miami on Thursday night and be like, hey, it's a weeknight prime time. Let's start the weekend ratings bonanza with a known national brand. Again, I know that Miami has not been good, but just like I was talking about, if you get somebody from Middle America and it's Miami and whoever on a Thursday night, in general, the ethos and the brand is strong. Even still, hey, Miami on Thursday night, click. So yeah, great with that.